Stop spending your money like it doesn't matter. The $300 billion truth about Black entrepreneurship. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, hosted by LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that's going to shake up everything you thought you knew about economic power, about where your dollars go, and about what it truly means to build wealth that doesn't just sit in your bank account, but transforms entire communities. I recently sat down with Mechell Melton, and I need you to understand something about this visionary. Mechell isn't just talking about business. They're not just another entrepreneur with a good idea. They are igniting a movement that's dismantling the old narratives we've been fed about money, about power, about who gets to build empires and who gets to watch from the sidelines. Their work is proving with hard data and real stories that when Black owned businesses thrive, we all win. Not just Black people, all of us. Every single person who benefits when markets are vibrant, diverse, and competitive. What Michelle shared with me is going to challenge you, it's going to make you uncomfortable. And if you let it, it's going to change how you spend every dollar from this moment forward. Let me start with something that might surprise you, something that should make every single one of us sit up and pay attention. Black owned businesses generated over $200 billion in annual revenue in 2026. 200 billion, with 3.2 million enterprises across this country. That's not small, that's not niche, that's not a charity project, that's economic force, that's power, that's influence. But here's the twist, the part that's going to make you rethink everything. The real game changer isn't just celebrating that growth, it's recognizing that equal access to capital, true equal access, could unlock an additional $300 billion dollars into the US economy. $300 billion dollars. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just about, Black entrepreneurs. This is about everyone. Funding disparities don't just hurt Black business owners, they hurt the entire economy. They hurt innovation. They hurt job creation. They hurt you, me, and every person who benefits when markets are full of fresh ideas, diverse perspectives, and real competition. When we talk about supporting Black owned businesses, we're not talking charity. We're not talking about doing someone a favor. We're talking about the smartest economic strategy available to any of us right now. Now, Mechell Melton shared three insights with me that I believe can shift how we approach entrepreneurship, wealth building, and economic justice. And I want to walk through each one with you because these aren't just ideas, they're blueprints, they're strategies, they're the roadmap to transformation. First insight: serve the underserved to dominate markets. Let me tell you about Rihanna. Yes, that Rihanna. In 2017, she launched Fenty Beauty, and she did something the entire cosmetics industry had refused to do for decades. She created 40 foundation shades at launch. 40, not 10, not 15, not 20, 40, because she knew what it felt like to walk into a store and find nothing that matched her skin. She knew what millions of Black women, brown women, women with deeper skin tones experienced every single day: invisibility in the beauty aisle, being told through the absence of products that their skin didn't matter enough to be seen, to be served, to be celebrated. Major brands had ignored this massive market. They treated diverse skin tones like an afterthought, a niche, something optional, something they'd get to eventually, maybe if they had time. Rihanna saw it differently. She saw an underserved market as an untapped gold mine, and she was right. Fenty Beauty made $100 million dollars in its first month. 100 million? Dollars? By 2026, the brand was valued at over $2.8 billion. Dollars. 2.8 billion. Dollars. And here's the kicker. Fenty didn't just succeed, it forced every competitor to change or lose market share. Suddenly, inclusivity wasn't optional anymore. It wasn't a nice to have, it was survival. Brands that had ignored women of color for decades scrambled to catch up, launching their own expanded shade ranges because Rihanna proved that serving the underserved wasn't just the right thing to do, it was the most profitable thing to do. This is what happens when you serve the underserved. You don't just fill a gap, you create a revolution. You turn what others dismissed as niche into mainstream dominance. And this isn't unique to beauty, it's happening across industries in ways that are changing lives and building generational wealth. Take Tracy Ellis Ross and Pattern Beauty. She launched in 2019 because mainstream brands underserved Black women's hair types. Curly, coily, textured hair was treated like a problem to fix, not a crown to celebrate. For years, Black women walked into stores and found shelves full of products that didn't work for them, created by people who didn't understand their hair, marketed by companies that didn't care. So Tracy created science backed products tailored to curl patterns using community input and e commerce for accessibility. She didn't just create products, she created a conversation, she built a community, she made women feel seen. By 2026, Pattern Beauty was a multi-million dollar brand with retail partnerships, proving that when you listen to the people others ignore, you build empires. Or look at Minute Cosmetics, founded by Black sisters KJ and Shelby Miller in 2017. They couldn't find nude lipsticks that actually looked nude on their skin. Think about that. Nude lipstick, something so simple, so basic, and yet for them, it didn't exist. The beauty industry had decided that nude meant one shade, one skin tone, one version of beauty. So they crowdfunded, they bootstrapped from a kitchen operation. They created over 30 inclusive shades with affordable pricing. By 2026, Minted was in Target stores nationwide, profitable, thriving, all without the venture capital that so many startups depend on. They proved that Black women entrepreneurs can disrupt entire industries without waiting for permission, without waiting for funding, without waiting for anyone to believe in them. These aren't feel good stories. These are business strategies. When you serve the underserved, you tap into demand that's been ignored, dismissed, or underestimated. And that demand, it's worth billions. Second insight, address community specific gaps for life changing impact. Now, let's talk about something deeper than lipstick and foundation. Let's talk about life and death. Black owned health tech firms are tackling issues that mainstream companies have ignored for too long: maternal mortality among Black women, pulse oximeters that fail on darker skin tones, medical devices designed without Black bodies in mind. These aren't just business opportunities, these are life saving missions. Black women in the United States are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy related complications than white women. 3 to 4 times in 2026 in the richest country in the world. That's not a statistic, that's a crisis. And for decades, mainstream healthcare companies did nothing about it. But Black entrepreneurs, they're stepping in. They're creating health tech solutions that address maternal mortality. They're designing medical devices that actually work on Black skin. They're building telehealth platforms that connect Black patients with culturally competent providers. They're not waiting for the system to change, they're building a new system. Entrepreneurship, when it's rooted in community specific needs, doesn't just build wealth. It saves lives. It creates sustainable businesses while addressing systemic gaps that have caused real harm. This is what Mechell Melton emphasized, that Black entrepreneurship isn't just about profit, it's about impact. It's about building businesses that serve, heal, and transform the communities they come from. And here's what's powerful about this approach: When you address gaps that affect your community, you create loyalty, trust, and long term sustainability. You're not just selling a product, you're offering a solution that people have been desperately waiting for. That's not transactional, that's transformational. Third insight: demand equal grace to fail and scale. This one hit me hard. Mechell Melton said something that I think every Black entrepreneur, every Black professional, every Black woman listening needs to hear. Black founders deserve the same room to iterate, pivot, and even fail as everyone else. We've been operating under this myth, this exhausting, soul crushing myth, that we have to be twice as good to get half as far, that we can't afford mistakes, that failure isn't an option, that every move we make has to be perfect, polished, flawless, because if we stumble, if we fall, if we fail, we won't get another chance. But that's not how innovation works. Innovation requires experimentation, it requires risk, it requires the grace to fail, learn, and try again. Every successful entrepreneur, every billionaire, every industry disruptor has failed multiple times. But when you're Black, when you're a woman, when you're both, you don't get that grace. You get one shot, maybe two if you're lucky. Right now, only about 2% of venture capital goes to Black founders, despite higher startup rates, 2%. That means Black entrepreneurs are starting businesses at higher rates than others. But they're getting a fraction of the funding. And when they do get funding, they're expected to perform flawlessly immediately with no room for the pivots and iterations that every successful business goes through. This isn't just unfair, it's economically foolish. When we don't give Black founders equal grace to fail and scale, we stifle innovation. We limit the economic ecosystems that could be thriving. We lose out on the ideas, the products, the services that could change industries, create jobs, and generate billions in revenue. Equal funding could add $300 billion dollars to the economy, but equal grace, that's priceless. That's what builds true innovation ecosystems where everyone has the freedom to create, experiment, and grow without the weight of perfection crushing their potential. Now, let me bring this back to you, to us, to the women listening who are navigating their own soft girl era, who are learning to release the cape, redefine strength, and protect their peace. Supporting Black owned businesses isn't separate from your journey towards softness and self prioritization. It's part of it. Because when you redirect your dollars intentionally, when you choose to support businesses that reflect your values, your community, your vision for a more equitable world. You're exercising a form of power that doesn't require you to hustle harder or sacrifice more. You're making choices that align with the life you're building, the one where your resources, your time, your energy go toward what truly matters. You're saying no to systems that don't serve you and yes to ones that do. That's boundary setting. That's self love, that's softness with intention. And here's the truth that Mechell Melton's insights reveal: when Black owned businesses thrive, they create jobs, they build generational wealth, they transform neighborhoods, they shift entire industries, they prove that the underserved market isn't niche, it's the future. Um, they show that addressing community specific gaps isn't charity, it's smart business. They demonstrate that equal grace to fail isn't a favor, it's a necessity for innovation. So here's what I need you to do right now, today, this week: audit your spending. Look at where your money goes: your groceries, your skincare, your clothes, your coffee, your subscriptions, your gifts, all of it. And ask yourself, am I funding the systems that exclude me, or am I building the ones that empower me? Find one Black owned business you can support this week. Just one. Buy their product, share their story, leave a review, tell a friend, invest in their vision. Because when we do this together, when we make these choices collectively, we don't just support businesses, we transform economies, we shift power, We build the world we've been waiting for. Stop spending your money like it doesn't matter because it does. Every dollar is a vote. Every purchase is a choice. Every transaction is an opportunity to either reinforce the systems that have excluded us or to build new ones that include us, celebrate us, and empower us. This is your invitation. This is your challenge. This is your call to action. Will you audit your spending today to redirect dollars where they build generational power? Will you choose to support Black owned businesses, not as charity, but as the smartest investment for your own wealth and innovation? Because when you do, you're not just spending money, you're building a new economy, you're funding the future. You're proving that softness doesn't mean powerless. It means intentional, it means strategic. It means you know exactly where your energy, your resources, your support should go. Mechell Melton is showing us the way. Rihanna, Tracy Ellis Ross, KJ, and Shelby Miller, they're showing us the way. And now it's our turn. Stop spending your money like it doesn't matter. Start building the world you deserve.